killed him with a machete. You know, it looks like they had a confrontation. Then the 17-year-old kid or boy, teenager, however you want to call him, he went back home. He got a machete, and then he went to the house of the other kid. And I mean, like in front of the house where the thing happened. Before you come up in the comments and tell me, oh, because he's Haitian. No. I'm talking about teenagers. Teenagers are teenagers. It doesn't matter where they come from. They're another episode of the Dominican news. It is very normal that by the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, but especially 14 years old, when you are like a teenager, it's normal for you to develop certain attraction to whatever it is you're gonna like, whether it is boys or it is girls. So when you are 14 years old, you start having those feelings like, oh my God, I like that boy, I like that girl. Now, something very interesting happened. Well, something very sad. Yeah, let me correct myself. Something very sad happened in the Dominican Republic about 2 weeks ago. So you all know, because if you follow this channel, if you follow my content, our content, for the soul, you will know that it is very normal in the Dominican Republic, especially in the poor areas. You see under 18 girls having relationships with, older men. But in this case, it happened with under 18 boys and girls, what I'm going to tell you. So there is this girl, she's 14 years old, and she had a relationship with another boy who was 15 years old, like, boyfriend and girlfriend. She was very in love with the boys. For whatever reason, they broke up. Since they are minors, the media, they don't give too much details about it because they're minors. And when it comes to minors, you have certain limitations to talk about it. There are certain details that you have to be very cautious because the law, is the law when it comes to minors. Now, these two Dominican, the boy and the girl, they were like boyfriend and girlfriend, and then they broke up. And then the girl, she fell in love with another boy who happens to be from Haiti. This story has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with that. Before you come up in the comments and tell me, oh, because he's Haitian. No. I'm talking about teenagers. Teenagers are teenagers. It doesn't matter where they come from. They're teenagers. So they basically behave the same way and very similar. So she fell in love at school. They all live in the same neighborhood with a 17-year-old Haitian boy. So they started to have like a relationship, like a boyfriend girlfriend stuff. Then the girl happens to she kept the communication with the Dominican boy that she had the relationship before, the 15-year-old kid. So the Haitian teenager, he was a little bit jealous about the situation. Like, okay, you and I, we have a relationship. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? And she was like, no. He's just my friend. I had nothing to do with him anymore. He's just my friend.
Do you have a man? She tried to pretend. She said, no, I don't. I only have a friend. Come on. I'm not even going for it.
She went back on a relationship with the 15-year-old guy, right? So she started to have again like a relationship with this 15-year-old Dominican teenager, and the 17-year-old boy, he was jealous about it. And guess what he did? I mean, they all lived in the same neighborhood, like in the same ghetto here in the Dominican Republic. And the 17-year-old Haitian boy got into a fight with the 15-year-old boy, and the Haitian teenager killed the 15-year-old Dominican boy. So in the beginning, I thought it had to do with some kind of conflict because of Dominican and Haitian. That's what I thought, but no, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. At the beginning, everybody here thought like, oh my God, what happened? Because now this is gonna become a race issue, whatever, but no. It was not the case. It was because of girls. I think the girls, they all study at the same school, and she had the relationship before with the 15-year-old boy, and then she had the relationship with the 17-year-old Haitian kid, and then they got into a fight, and blah blah, and he killed him. And that's very sad. That's very sad because I'm used to see that in with adults, not with teenagers. I mean, adults are the ones that do this kind of jealous and commit this kind of crime. So this is why it's a little bit, it's sad. It's very sad. But guess what? I mean, nothing is gonna happen because if you are a minor in the Dominican Republic, the maximum they're gonna give you is 5 years if you commit, if you like put a somewhere, like, you know. But he's probably gonna be 1 year, but it's not even jail. It's like a detention center for under 18 boys, which is there's a lot of violence in there because you're talking about all those kids that they have a very bad behavior. That's where you go, but it's not like jail, you know. And then after 1 year, he's probably gonna just go back to the streets, and that's it. That's it. Nothing is gonna happen. Of course, I don't want any kid to go to prison, but of course, I also put myself in the shoes of the mother and the family of the one that is, you know, the one that's dead. He actually killed him with a machete. You know, it looks like they had a confrontation. Then the 17-year-old kid or boy, teenager, however you want to call him, he went back home. He got a machete, and then he went to the house of the other kid. And I mean, like in front of the house, that's where the thing happened. It is very common in the Dominican Republic that girls, they start having relationships at a very young age. And don't be surprised if you see a 15 or 16-year-old Dominican girl that she's already living with a man, like 99% of the time is older, you know. That's very normal here. I'm not proud of it, but that's the reality. That's the truth. Especially you're gonna see that in the poor areas where there is lack of everything. Those areas where the government doesn't reach that far, especially there, you're gonna see like that thing happening a lot. That happens a lot, especially it's very normal in those areas. It's like a culture to have a kid before the age of 18 years old. Sometimes by the age of 20, you will see girls, women in this case, if you're 20, with 2 kids, maybe 3. That happens a lot. And that's not the saddest part. The saddest part is that sometimes it's not from the same father, you know? And those kids at the end are going to be raised by grandma or grandpa. And those kids are going to repeat the same cycle. But this is not the first time something similar like this happened. So about a month ago, 2 girls, they got into a fight, right? They happened to be sisters. So the older sister, who is 22 years old, she killed her sister, the younger sister, who was 14 years old. So the reason why they got into a fight is because the 14-year-old girl, she was having an argument with her boyfriend, who happens to be 19 years old. But that's not the sad part. That's not the worst. So the worst part is that she started to have a relationship with this guy when she was 11, so three years ago. So he's 19 today. When they started to have the relationship, he was 16 years old. So at the age of 11, she already had a boyfriend who was 16 years old, and they've been together for like 3 years. Her mother knew about it. Why? Because her mother actually also had those babies at a very early age. So that's like a cycle. The mother knew about it, and she just didn't care. Okay, you can just move in. So they were living together as a husband and a wife, which is completely incorrect. That's anti-natural. Just not supposed to happen. So they got into an argument, blah blah blah, and then the older sister, she started to fight with the boy, like trying to defend her sister, correct? And then the younger sister started to defend the boy, and she started a fight with her sister. The older sister, she went to her house and she grabbed a gun. So she went back to the fight. She tried to shoot the boy, but she actually shot the girl, her sister. And she killed her sister and injured the boy, the man. He's alive, but he got 2 shots because she shot 4 times, 2 for the sister, the little sister, and 2 for the boy. The sister passed away. The boy is still in recovery, and the 22-year-old girl is actually in prison. The point is that it's like a cycle that never ends, and that cycle generates more tragedy and tragedy, you know. So people die, life are destroyed, and that happens here, and that happens a lot. That happens here, unfortunately. It does. Thank you very much for supporting Fourth of the Soul, and please subscribe. I'll see you next week. I love you all. Bye bye.